Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show's NBA recap of the Los Angeles Clippers versus Boston Celtics. Here on the Sports Talk by Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. Before we get into the recap of the game, make sure you hit that join button down the bottom, like the videos, subscribe, and of course, comment along and let me know what you thought of the game and what you think of the NBA season in general. So let's get to the first quarter that started off slow for both teams before Joey Kennard came out on fire. He hit a two to make it 5-0 at the 11-minute mark. And after a nice Jayson Tatum turnaround to cut the lead to 5-2, Kennard was able to hit threes from one corner. Next possession, moved to the next corner, and it hit another big three. It was quickly 11-4 for the Los Angeles Clippers. Boston was trying to find their way. Tatum missed on a three, and the Clippers' two-man game was going strong as Kennard was able to find Ibaka with 9 minutes to go on a nice screen roll. So Kawhi had a nice finger roll to get into the game to push the lead to 11 at the 8:08 mark of the game. And after a timeout by Boston, they were kind of able to respond with a Jayson Tatum three, kind of stop the bleeding. Kawhi would nail another jumper to make the lead 17-7, and Ibaka would hit his first three of the night after going 0 for 2 for his first two shots. A timeout by the LA Clippers, and Thompson would hit a nice bank shot to make it 20-14 as Boston was trying to cut into the lead as the first quarter would end. Kawhi was fouled and was sent to the line. He would hit both buckets as it was 22-16. Jayson Tatum would hit another nice jump shot and a three from Edwards, and the bench was just right off the bench. And they were trying to help out things for Boston. So after Williams had 3 chance points off the misses, Boston was no, and Morris was able to come back with a nice reverse layup to make the lead 31-19 for the LA Clippers. Robert Williams was able to get the and one on a nice dish from Teague, and the quarter would end 33-21 for the Los Angeles Clippers. So the second quarter would start off much the same as the first quarter, with both teams going a little bit cold before a nice inbound play by Boston to find Robert Williams on a big dunk. Terrence Mann would get a three for the Los Angeles Clippers after a three with 9:55 to go to bring the lead back up to 38-26. So after a timeout, Carson Edwards would hit another three, his third of the night, and the score was 38-29. So Morris would hit a three, and things were kind of raining from beyond the arc. But as anytime Boston would try and make a run, the LA Clippers seemed to respond in the first half. So some great ball movement by the Clippers led to a nice slam dunk by Ibaka Zubac on the inside. So Kemba Walker had a slow start to the game, but he was fouled on a three and would nail all 3 of the free throws, which kind of gave him a hot hand in the second quarter. He would hit a three right after that. So Kennard would hit a three, but the lead was only 9 at 46-37. Teams would kind of trade buckets going back and forth, and the Clippers were able to whip it around again and find Baton for a three of his own, and the lead was 13 for the Los Angeles Clippers. Kind of looked to be running away with things in the first half. Down at the other end, Jackson was fouled and would hit both of the free throws before a Kawhi steal, and he was fouled all the drive. Kawhi Leonard would hit his 12th point of the evening to make the lead 58-44 for the Clippers. And a nice two by Boston on the pull-up before Ibaka was called for a travel. Tatum was able to find Edwards, and he missed, but Thompson was able to get the ball back and was fouled on the inside. It was 58-45 for the Los Angeles Clippers. So Jayson Tatum, like I said, was doing as much as he could for the Boston Celtics, decided to do it himself with a huge slam dunk over Serge Ibaka to cut the lead to 60-49. Morris was able to hit a two over Tristan Thompson, and Walker kind of, like I said, was heating up and was able to hit a jumper, and the lead was 62-51 for the Los Angeles Clippers at half. The third quarter would start how the first half did, with both teams trading misses before Thompson got his jump hook to start working. He made a nice bucket, and then Jayson Tatum would nail a big three to make it just a 6-point game at 62-56. So a foul by Ibaka. Boston was turning it over to miss three, couple missed by both teams before Kemba Walker would carry his hot hand over and hit a three after Kawhi was able to cut the lead, bring the lead back up to 8 with 2 free throws. Kind of looked like Boston was going to get back in this game and make it a game. So after baton jumper for the Clippers, Walker is able to respond right away with a nice move down low under the bucket to get a 2. With 7:36 to go in the third quarter, Kawhi hit a really nice one-handed scoop shot for his 20th points of the evening, and the lead was back up to 10 at 71-61 for the Clippers. So after Jayson Tatum would miss and Baton would get the putback on the glass on the other end for the Clippers, Grant Williams hit a big three for Boston, and they looked ready to make a run. The Clippers would turn the ball over, and Tatum would slam it home to make it 73-68. Boston was playing some really good defense on the day, and after a Drew Kennard miss, they would be right back down and get their first lead of the night with a Williams three. It was 4:36 to go in the third quarter. Kawhi would miss, and the teams would trade misses back and forth, and a timeout with 3:51 to go. Everybody was getting into things for the Boston Celtics as rookie Peyton Pritchard would hit a three to bring the lead to 77-75 for Boston. And right after, Tatum showed a nice scoop shot for the layup to make it 79-75. Kawhi was fouled and be sent to the line and tied the game up at 79. But Boston was just firing on all cylinders as Ojale hit a three with 1:30 to go. And basically everyone for Boston was starting to get into the action. Pritchard would once again nail a three, and the Clippers were forced to call a timeout as Tyronn Lue was kind of getting outmatched as the lead was now 8 for the Boston Celtics. The third quarter would end with a big baton three to cut the lead to 7 with 30 seconds to go. And that's how things would end in the third quarter with an 89-82 Boston Celtics lead. The fourth quarter would start off just the same as most other quarters, as both teams would go cold before Jayson Tatum decided to show off his skills once again from 3-point range, right off the screen. It was 92-84, and the Boston Celtics were starting to run away with things. Maybe it was the other way around. Terrence Mann would convert the dunk after a Celtics turnover, and it was 94-87 before a nice pass from Baton to Zubac inside, who was able to throw it down for the Clippers, and he would cut the lead to 5 with 9:12 to go in the fourth quarter. A layup off a turnover before Williams would miss for Boston. Lou Williams for the LA Clippers would hit a big three as they tried to battle back. But the Celtics would push things back to 4 with 8 minutes to go. Tatum would hit a shot for Boston, but Lou Williams, former Sixth Man of the Year, would come right back at the other end. This game was going to definitely come down to the wire for both teams. Boston would miss, Kawhi would able to respond a bit, and Tatum would miss on a three. It was 102-101. Kawhi Leonard would get poked in the eye with 4:50 to go in the third quarter and would head off before Serge Ibaka was able to drive to the bucket, and the teams were pretty much trading baskets by then as Kemba Walker would come back with the two to put Boston up once again. 106-106, and Kennard would miss for the Lakers before Boston would push, and Tatum's shot went in and out before Kawhi would head back down and then nail a mid-range shot. That was a double-double for him for the night. There was a foul on a three that Ty Lue would challenge, and LA Clippers would win that. Sorry, they would lose the challenge as Edwards would hit all three of the free throws to make it 109-108 for Boston before Tatum would steal it from Kawhi Leonard and was fouled on the drive to the bucket. He would hit both shots for 34 points so far for the night and a 3-point lead for the Boston Celtics. Things were getting down to the wire as we got near 2 minutes to go. Boston was able to get an inbound play, but they turned it over, but able to get it right back. They scored a bucket before Kawhi would find Lou Williams on a drive and a nice skip pass out to the corner for a three, and the Los Angeles Clippers had the 112-111 lead. So back and forth as things would go. Kemba Walker would hit a nice two with 30 seconds left to go to make it 115-112. And after Kawhi Leonard missed on a chance to tie it at two and then a chance to tie it from three, things kind of got interesting late as the Boston Celtics were fouled. And a late three by Lou Williams made it close, but things would end 119-115 for the Boston Celtics. A big third quarter where they outscored the Los Angeles Clippers 38-20 kind of paved the way, along with 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists from Jayson Tatum. Kemba Walker added with 24 points, 4 assists of his own. On the other side of the ball for the Los Angeles Clippers, Kawhi Leonard had 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. Lou Williams off the bench had 18 points. So the Clippers will play the Kings in their next game while Boston is still on the road, and they will take on the Phoenix Suns. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to check out the game highlights if you haven't already for the Sports Talk Line Network. I have been your host, Joshua Griffith, and thank you for joining into the Sports Talk Line Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365.